Hi, my name is Shezan Saleem Joji, and I'm a filmmaker and music producer from Pakistan. I was born in Hyderabad, Sindh, and raised in Karachi. My tilt towards media wasn't accidental. I grew up with a huge influence of showbiz since my father Salim Javed, who is a pop artist, is one of the biggest names in the music industry of Pakistan and is still active for 4 decades. All the country's finest musicians, producers, engineers who were working with my dad fueled my curiosity to be in the media and were a core part of me growing up. At the age of 14, I was already recording my dad's music album professionally in my dad's studio, and doing so, I became the youngest professional sound engineer of Pakistan at that time. Fast forward 10 years, I did my own debut as a singer in Pakistan, and the album was well received. But I knew singing was going to be more like a hobby and fun because my passion was awaiting for me down the road. And so I started to lean towards filmmaking, since I was already exposed to the video production industry, as I was actively assisting my father and a few other directors and editors in the process of making videos. I saved up some money and bought my first DSLR camera in 2010, and everything changed after that. I self-taught myself many things about filmmaking, and YouTube became my best friend and a teacher. And soon started directing music videos for many artists internationally and locally. I wanted to tell stories through my videos, and a few-minute music videos that I was doing wasn't going to do that for me. I wanted to explore the world, see various culture, traditions, people, and tell their stories through my lens. And so began a journey of a lifetime that I thought I would never be going to do. And since I was caught up with many mundane life activities, I resigned from my job as a chief operating officer at one of the tech companies in Karachi in March 2019, and I finally decided to pack my backpack, grabbed my camera, and started this journey of self-awareness from my province Sindh in Pakistan. Since this was a life-changing opportunity for me, I wanted to document and film the entire experience as well. I chose Sindh as a starting point because I lived in Karachi, which is part of our province Sindh. I found myself obliged to start my journey there, because that's my home. Those are my own people, and sadly, I never went out to meet them other than my professional commitments. One of my friend Tala, who owns a travel portal called Batuta in Pakistan, hopped along this journey. And we planned our itinerary of a 10-day road trip in Sindh consisting of the following cities: Thatta, Tharparkar district, Mithi city, Bhit Saeedabad, Sevan Sharif, Gorakhel in Dadu district, Ladkana, the ancient city of Mohenjo-daro, Gani Khudabakhsh, Sakkar, and Hyderabad. And I must tell you, this was a very ambitious itinerary for a 10-day road trip. Our first stop was Makli Necropolis in Thatta city. This is one of the largest graveyards in the world that houses 500,000 to 1,000,000 graves. The unique thing about this graveyard is the exquisite designs of the grave with calligraphic engraving, historical designs of tombs and mausoleums. Our next stop was also going to be in Thatta city, and it was Shah Jahan Mosque, built in the 17th century by Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan as a token of appreciation for the hospitality of the people of Thatta. This mosque is unique for its architectural history and design. The mosque has the highest number of domes among any mosque in Pakistan. Thatta was also the center of Islamic culture in the 16th and 17th century. Our last stop for Thatta city was going to be Kinjar Lake, also known as Kalri Lake. This is the second largest freshwater lake in Pakistan. They have cottages and restaurant over there as well, so you can stay overnight and enjoy the sunset and sunrise over the lake. After this, we headed towards Tharparkar district. Tharparkar is mostly desert, and the uniqueness of this desert is that it is the only fertile desert in the world, which means as soon as it hits the monsoon season, many places in the desert go green. The capital in Tharparkar district was Mithi city, where we stayed for a night at Gadibit. It's situated on top of a hill from where you can see the entire city and the desert all around you. The culture, the traditions, and lifestyle over here is completely different from what you see in the other cities. The people are very happy in nature and are very hospitable. The population in the district is split between Hindus and Muslims, and they live in a great harmony together. Our next stop was going to be Bhit city, but en route we stopped at Knockout Fort. It's also in Tharparkar district, built in the 18th century. At the time I visited, they were working on restoring many things at that fort. I went up and saw the desert around from the top of the fort, and it was amazing. The best moment was when I saw a herd of camels passing by. As a filmmaker, I think I hit a jackpot filming that from the top of the fort. Next up, Bhit city. The city is famous for two things: the shrine of very famous Sufi poet Shah Abdul Latif Bhattai, and my favorite, the house of Sindhi ajrak shawls, hats, and other traditional attire. I saw how handmade ajraks are made, and it was an amazing experience to see how much effort is put into making them. So many man hours are put into making just a handful of them. Just on the outskirts of Bhitia is Saeedabad. There was a small village called Agra Rahu. That's where they make Sindhi traditional hats. Men, women and children all make these hats at home. To be honest with you, this was my best interaction with the people of Sindh and their tradition. I had felt the warmth and felt so welcome that it made my day. Our next destination was Gorakhel in Dadu district. If you are a thrill seeker, then you must visit this place in Sindh. It's situated at least 4,000 plus feet above the sea level. Weather is pleasant throughout the year. The view of the mountains, the sunrise, the sunset, the bonfire, the food, the campfire. The place has everything and is an ultimate travel destination within Sindh. You must be thinking, where's the thrill part? Well, at one point there will be a route that goes in circles to the top of the Gorakhel. When you look outside the window of your car, you will know the thrill. Pakistan is a blessed land with great history. Among those historical sites was our next stop, the ancient city of Mohenjo-daro from Indus Valley civilization. The city is adjacent to Larkana. This great city of Mohenjo-daro also has a museum at site where the relics and finds of the city from 4,500 years ago are kept. This place is going to wow you and will give you goosebumps at the same time. Moving on to Khairpur district. Definitely one of my favorite places in Sindh. The drive on the roads of Khairpur is amazing because all you'll see on your left and right is date farms. Acres and acres of land covered with date trees. The view is going to refresh your soul, I guarantee you that. And since you're in Khairpur district, one must never forget the very famous Tadal almond drink. This is a drink of summer to keep you cool and has a very traditional significance. Within Khairpur district, there is a fort called Kot Diji Fort. This is going to give you Game of Thrones kind of vibes. The fort spans over 1.8 kilometer in covered area, 50 feet tall towers. The fort also contains water reservoir, munition storage, prison, courtroom, numerous cells for security personnel and a small regal residence. And best of all, the view of Khairpur date farm from the height of 110 feet, mind-blowing. Speaking of history, another city, Sakkar, is rich with history as well. Sakkar has a very lively vibe in terms of life as compared to other places I've been so far. The food, the lights, the liveliness was all there. Historical sites like Sadbelo Hindu Temple in the middle of the river, Lansdowne Bridge built by the British pre-partition, and Sakkar Barrage are few of the sites that are must visit. We concluded our trip in Hyderabad. Now Hyderabad is not a city with lots of sights, but it's definitely a foodie's heaven. By the time we reached the city, it was evening and we had an amazing time eating traditional mutton kadai for dinner. The breakfast the next day was really over the top. There's a dish called Dulan Paratha, which literally translates to fried bride bread. Well, it's a tradition to send breakfast to the newlywed couples in Hyderabad, and Cafe Afzal in particular is famous for that, so they named it after the bride. The very famous 100+ years old Bombay Bakery cake in Hyderabad are a must. Keep in mind there is going to be a big lineup. And one of my favorite experiences was freshly caught fish, which you can have pan-fried or grilled by the river at Cafe Al Manzar. Though Karachi city is the king of food in Pakistan in terms of both fine dine and street food, but Hyderabad will definitely be a runner-up if you're talking about Sindh. Overall, Pakistan has one of the best foods in the world. It's so good that I guarantee you will be licking your fingers. From south to up north, every city, town, province, people from various backgrounds will have their specialities and you would want to have them all. The aroma of spices in the food will attract you like a magnet from distant places. Although you can backpack your trip, but some planning in advance will always help you. A good itinerary will always benefit you on your trip. This is the day and age of digital media. Local influencers, bloggers, and vloggers like us are always happy to assist foreigners as well. You can always reach out to them through Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. If you are planning to see Sindh, Punjab, and Balochistan, I would recommend going when it's a bit pleasant. September till March is, I believe, the best season to visit these provinces. Up north is pleasant the entire summer with amazing lush green valleys, water streams, lakes, mountains with breathtaking views are all there. And in winter, you can enjoy snow and other winter activities. In the past, Pakistan has been a victim of terrorism itself while fighting for peace and have had questionable security concerns. But those are the days of the past. Right now, Pakistan is one of the fastest growing economies in Asia. Many big international media outlets are seeing Pakistan as one of the top tourist destinations in the world in 2021 and onwards. In fact, I wouldn't shy to say here that you should not believe everything you hear about Pakistan and Pakistanis on the news. Pakistanis are one of the most friendly people around the world. As a foreigner, when you go there, people will invite you to their homes. They will take you out for sightseeing, guide you and help you with your trip. When you go out shopping on the streets, they will often gift you what you're buying, saying that you are their guest and won't even take money even if you insist. Many big international known travel filmmakers, vloggers, bloggers are rushing to Pakistan because it offers one of the most unique experiences to them. People really get happy to see foreigners in Pakistan because they also want you to experience their hospitality. So you can tell the world that we are one of the most generous, loving people with one of the most beautiful countries in the world and even more beautiful hearts. My entire experience that I've spoken about today, I've documented in a travel film called The Beautiful Sindh. It was so well received that recently international streaming platform Amazon Prime also featured it on their platform in the UK and USA. It is also an honor for me as a Pakistani that I get to share the story of our country, the beauty of our country, the culture, the tradition, and the people of our country with the world. In the end, I would like to thank the entire team of Salam Pakistan, Pakistan Information and Cultural Society of Sweden, Pakistan Embassy Sweden, Pakistan-Sweden Business Council to give me the opportunity to share my story with all of you today. We as Pakistanis invite all of you to visit our beautiful country and experience the hospitality and adventure that I guarantee you have never experienced before. I thank you all for joining me today. Assalamu alaikum.